everybody, and welcome to another session of Asians Return. Tonight we're playing a story, a campaign, a game set in Frostmark system and setting, everything created by moi. There's a content warning for tonight of bad language, there can be some heavy topics, and there might be some gore. We shall see. And with me, I have a wonderful cast of players. I got our ex-agent of the church, Acheron, Finesse, and Discipline, played by Aspen. Hello, welcome.
Sup, everyone?
Then we got our lovely priestess, Genera, our Finesse and Devotion build, played by Lola. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
We got our heretical scholar with mess of AOs, Titania, played by Lynn. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
And then we got the enigmatic and mysterious gold-eyed Aaron Asterian, played by Adrian. Hello.
Hello.
Alright. What happened last time, gang? Or what didn't happen last time?
Combat. First combat.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
that was exciting.
It went really
went
well
well.
for everybody.
Only few people got shot.
The builds were just as intended. They
Woo!
did. Yes.
We got some sniping from Genera, some encouraging from Titania.
Yeah.
Also a firebolt from Titania as well.
Yep.
Acheron zoomed across the battlefield, too fast for any, smack back. And Aaron played around in the darkness.
Sounds like that.
And
I am the night, I am the terror.
I am the inconvenience. Sorry.
And he also made a man cry for his mother.
Yep.
Good.
That happened.
100%.
Yeah, and the gal squad
Oh, yeah.
intimidated this poor little bandit who was trying to negotiate for a gold.
Poor.
It's just an
Trying to
adjective.
steal my horse.
Well, if he would have gotten the horse, he wouldn't be so poor any longer.
Mm.
But he accepted the silver coin, basically tipped his fedora and left you. Ran away into the night. Yeah.
After the battle, I remember Tanya, I made a composure check to see if she would take the soul of the bandit leader, and she did.
You did. That was a very cinematic moment of that little red light that came. And Geneva got to see that for the first time.
Spooky.
Ooh. You patched up some wounds. And then you did a pretty long interrogation of poor Aaron.
I just was playing in the dark, apparently.
We were owed some answers.
He
You're
just
a
likes
weird
the
man.
dark.
You're a weird
I
man.
don't like sunlight. I don't tan. Well, the fact that he turned off the campfire in a very quick motion, and then lit a stone, and then turned that off again. It was just all a dance of light.
Yeah, you play with some light, and Acheron was like, "What the fuck? I can't see in the dark. What's up with you? Why are you so weird? This is a bad tactical decision."
It was.
I mean, don't assassins is fine in the dark too.
And
just
Aaron
saying.
alluding to, I can see better in the dark than you, and then Acheron going, "But can you see in the dark or not?" And then Aaron going, "I think I already told you my answer." And then the fuming on your face.
Give it to me straight down.
Always so nice when you two interact and we get "Good night, Acheron," or "It's raining, Acheron." But you want me to say, Acheron? And then Aaron also discloses the information that he has gotten some kind of soul mark. That was some kind of coming of age thing. He doesn't his place where he grew up and got the soul mark, it doesn't exist anymore apparently, and he doesn't know when it existed either.
Well, timelines were fuzzy, shall we say?
Yes.
It wasn't like he didn't know when it existed. It's like he didn't
Compute it.
Yeah. He couldn't plot it on a line, and like
Yes.
Titania was like, "This is how I operate," and Aaron was like, "That's nice."
Tanya's like, I work with dates and numbers and calendars, and Aaron's just like,
Well, for you, I don't.
yeah.
And then there was obviously the very valuable, so you're not human. Yeah.
Yes.
Which shocked two of us
Yeah.
completely.
The little Pikachu face on your face was amazing.
Absolutely blindsided.
But then,
Especially after the earlier thing where
Yeah.
we were in the inn and Aaron absolutely let Akron be like, wow, what a stupid question.
and
It was
then,
glorious.
and then, to everybody's chagrin, you all agreed upon it was too late to discuss it, and Aaron can take a breath of relief that the grilling was over. But Akron and Aaron has a little bit of a heartfelt conversation. I thought it was some great lines that was being passed in that whole segment. It was very, very sweet. And then also Aaron heals Akron's shoulder. Yes. Unnerva, you touched some horses in the night?
Some horse.
Some horses.
A singular horse.
A single horse. Okay.
The church know about this?
Where you realize Celia reminds you of a war horse and
Yeah.
has a bunch of scars on her body. Then during the morning, all hell broke loose in like everybody's minds, especially Titania, as you do not find only one letter, but 3 of them.
3. And
Three.
probably like some of the worst so far. Woo. Like, and I thought I knew what was going on after the letter from Sebastian, but then I definitely didn't, and then I definitely didn't.
What was the letters basically about, Lynn?
So the letter from Sebastian confirmed what I had suspected, where he had been knighted in East Creek, and also that, again, apparently he had received similar letters about the state of their mother. So I thought, I was like, okay, I was getting a timeline of these are definitely not being sent normally, right? Because the whole distance to East Creek. And then we get a letter from Flayance, apparently insinuating that he had been inducted into the same program that Titania was a part of for her time, with some disturbingly cheery language used for it. And then also a letter from Titania's aunt, who she was very fond of, regarding the potential poisoning of Titania's mom, because she's visited by a quote-unquote priest every week. And also it was interrupted in the middle of being written.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And I think the last thing said was exactly actually Akron going, well, at least I was right about them poisoning your mom.
Yes, that's how the episode ended.
yeah.
But, these letters were delivered by a bunch of dead bandits. One of them were nailed to a tree, and there was also a dead bird and some flower petals that made Akron stare out into the distance, and Aaron had to slap her. It was an interesting little segment.
I think had is a strong word.
Took the opportunity to. Instead of,
Ooh!
I'll get you back one day. You have
Okay.
trauma
What's
too,
this?
buddy. You have flashbacks too, buddy. You better watch out.
And then there we go. That's the situation. Wow.
What?
Wow. What a nice, simple, uncomplicated session.
Never get up to anything, guys. Just
I
nothing
know.
ever happens to us.
Right?
Just fought a bunch of
Straight-
banners, walk down the road. That's about it.
Yeah. Straightforward, smooth sailing, no
Read
confusion.
some words.
Damn words.
Words always screw everything up.
I know, right?
Okay, let me bring you back into where we were. Gentle and puffy clouds slowly travel over the sky above you. A warm and light breeze tickle your faces. The forest around you is green in a myriad of different colors and is buzzing with activity in the morning sun. The situation almost feels sick when the world around you is so bright, so warm, so calming. When inside Titania, there's only a storm of tumultuous feelings. Fear, worry, anger, confusion. Everything at the same time, wrestling for control in your head and in your chest. The brother's asking you to protect your family. Fleance is in the Falcon Project, speaking also highly of the Cardinal, and your aunt believes your mother's not sick, and inquisitors have been knocking on her door. And why did her letter end so abruptly? For a second the world twists in front of your eyes, your balance going haywire, but you steady yourself, staring down on your feet, breathing to still yourself. For everyone else, you don't really feel safe at this moment. Once the summer forest usually feels like a shielding embrace of solitude and calmness, now it feels like every branch, every rock, every trunk hides enemies, allies, letters, you don't know, and that's the problem. The seconds tick by, but no matter how many pass, you're not getting any wiser. What will you do?
I'm concerned standing here in the middle of the road. Puts us in a very awkward position, especially if we're being watched or we don't really know what's around the next corner. Acheron, are you feeling okay to move?
Yes.
I don't know what's going through your head, Titania, but standing next to a body like this asks questions for those that encounter it. I'd rather we not be here, if at all we can help that.
I kind of place in like a hand on Titania's arm. Just kind of give her a look like, I'm sorry, we have to go.
Yeah. Titania will mount up with shaking hands, just kind of either 1,000-yard stare or looking at the letters.
Alright. And then silently kick your horses into motion. Continue down on that small forest path towards the main road. It doesn't take too long, and eventually you get to it. Aaron, you're in the front, and your eyes gaze between north and south. Where do you turn?
We're heading south. I turn south.
Should we keep going with what Tia's found out now? I don't know exactly what these letters mean and the flowers, and I don't really
Nothing's
understand.
changed. We still have a job to do. And
Perhaps.
unless, Tia, you can say otherwise.
I mean, Don't these letters mean your family's in danger?
Yes. Yes, they do. But the fact that I have these at all means that she wants me back. And I'd rather not.
And the flowers, Macaron? They're not good?
Not the same as the bird. It's a signal either that if it is her, which it might not be, she wants to talk, or it's the sign of a job finished and that she's back home safe. But probably the first part of that. Doesn't matter.
I mean, it would help to know whether she's after you or trying to support you. Could help explain who this other group is that's following us.
First off, we didn't exactly develop ways to threaten each other for fun. Second of all, it could just as easily be anyone else. I mean, after all, I wouldn't be surprised if they did know. They are, well, you know who. Or at least I think you're starting to know.
Well, like I said, this is beyond me. I just wanted to check with both of you how you're feeling about this.
How I feel is entirely irrelevant.
Well, it could be useful to meet her if she wants to help keep you safe. Don't you want to see her again?
What I want doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't know. Tia, do you want to take a break?
No. No, we gotta keep moving.
Only for a short time. Just to get away from that path. Just in case other people come by and spot us, but there's no pressing engagement. We'll make it when we make it. You say if you need a break.
Say as much if I need to.
Then south it is. I kick Zelia.
Nani follows.
Yep.
Alright. Do you, you just want to, give yourself some distance from, the area that we're just in? And after in half an hour or so, traveled a kilometer or two. Is there this...
In half an hour?
No, probably a bit more than that. Yeah, well, a few kilometers. Whatever. Distance.
Slow horses.
X number of meters.
Moseying.
Is there a pressing silence or a need to talk this morning?
Geneva will just be kind of looking distracted, thinking.
Titania's very deep in thought. She's not in the mood for talking right now.
Yeah.
I guess we're just quiet.
Yeah. It's pressing silence. That's the
Aaron's
hours.
enjoying it.
Alright.
Wow.
Silence for different reasons as the hours go by. by now, the constant cover of trees enclosing on your path have started to bore those minds that are used to more open landscapes. Or for some, it might even have started to feel a bit claustrophobic. Just an endless row of brown tree trunks clad in green branches, slowly swirling past you. By lunchtime, you do find another cleared patch of forest to sit in, and you're able to gather some flowers if a certain somebody would want to.
Yeah.
Alright. You also want to roll a 1d100 for me?
Yep.
Oh.
Ooh.
72.
Yeah, no, you only find normal flowers. Here you do find more than you found in that area before, more rarity of different flowers. Different colors. There's some small white forest stars and clusters of yellow flowers. Whatever you want, you can take it.
Is there like a covered area, like around this place, like a rock or something, like a large rock or dip that you can sit against?
Right now sitting in a field of that has been removed of trees for different kind of industry. So what is left is this very thin old pines, some new spruces. There's a bunch of roots around, very dry ground, more of a yellow grass, but the boulders are indeed revealed by removing the trees of this area. And there's one that goes up to your hip and a little bit wider. If you crouch behind it.
Potentially sit down and lean against it. But that's not really enough. But so how far does the kind of clearing of trees go? Basically, how far away are trees where people could easily hide behind?
You're probably looking about an acre, which is half of a hectare. So it's pretty big. It's like a farm field size.
Okay. That's good. Okay. Then I kind of bring everyone together. Won't bother with the rock, but just this seems like a safer place that we're gonna get for now, in terms of watching eyes.
Airplane?
So I had expected a few days ago, but now I know for sure the agents following us aren't doing so as extra protection, and they're not doing so to keep an eye on Tia. They want you, Aaron. I got another letter last night during my guard. Another burn after reading type, and they want me to take you to a specific inn at the crossroads where they plan to spring a trap for you. But I think I may have an idea about how we can avoid that without gaining suspicion. But it does require us going either back the way we came or finding some way, if you know of it, to approach the wolves before we reach the crossroads.
You received a letter last night? And there, within that letter, there was plans to take me.
They told me they wanted me to make sure you were at a particular inn at the crossroads. And there, I don't know the plans, specific plans, but they are springing a trap for you.
The crossroads.
I think it's the crossroads. This is me out of character speaking. I'm pretty sure it's the crossroads.
Spruce Cross.
Spruce Cross. That's what I meant. Spruce Cross.
That's distressing at best. You have a
Why do they want
plan?
me?
Why did they want you the last time they sent someone after you?
Well, yeah, of course, but it seems like, well, if they fail the first time, isn't that how agents work? They get rid of the agent? I suppose they should keep on trying, otherwise, what's the use of giving up after the first attempt, I suppose? It's curious for now, here, with you.
I mean, isn't this the first time that you've been in the cities more? Don't you usually tend to be in the woods?
I suppose.
But when you
still.
spook an animal hunting, you don't go after it immediately.
No, that's true. It's just you don't tend to be walking around with another, well, predator amongst you. How? So, they told you this last night and you just said okay? Or...
What else was I going to say? I mean, I was a letter. I don't say anything. I just...
Okay.
know they're watching, so...
Well,
do as I'm told.
It's good of you that you brought it up immediately. If you disagree...
I wanted to wait for a place where I was sure you wouldn't be able to see us talking. But I didn't want to wait until we made camp.
So you were saying you... What? We're no longer heading south?
Well...
We've just ridden...
The idea, at least, this is a potential idea, is if we can contact the wolves and have them either meet with us because we were originally going to have them help us to get across the mountains and we were attacked by some of their members, seemingly to check if everything is still fine. And in that meeting, they capture us, and therefore it looks like we're doing what we would be to ensure the mission goes fine, but it goes wrong, and we're captured by them. Captured by them, we are still able to get across the mountains. But we'll also have the wolves as protection if the agents change their plans, and we have plausible deniability of why we couldn't get to the inn.
That seems very elaborate just for one ambush that you know. We could just avoid going to the inn.
If we avoid going to the inn, then that would create suspicion on me. And that doesn't help any of us. It's not so elaborate. It's the same plan that we were thinking of before, having the wolves meet us and find out a way to get across. It was one of the potential plans we were doing to act as slaves going across. This time they think that we are going to go across with them as allies, and instead we actually go across as slaves, but that's not what they're expecting us to do. And so to them it will seem like we were captured, and therefore we had no ability to be able to arrive there. But we knew we wanted to contact them in the first place to get their help to get across the mountains anyway, so we were already planning to meet them. Now we have extra reason to want to meet them sooner than to just wait around after they attacked us to check that that wasn't something that they had done on purpose or it was just a small group that didn't really know what was going on.
I'll
Isn't it
follow
gonna
whatever
look-
Tia wants to do, but not. Actually, I don't care if you think I'm a dick. Why do we give a fuck about your reputation in the church?
And wouldn't it look odd anyway, just to turn around?
Well, after we were attacked, we have reason to want to seek them out rather than wait for them. So that's the one reason why we would. And it doesn't help to have me be seen as suspicious. It only adds more suspicion to all the rest of you. Being inside gives me enough power to be able to protect you somewhat. I mean, it gives me the ability to share this kind of information with you. Without that, it's not going to be particularly helpful. It's better to know what they're planning than not. And if they suspect me, then they're not going to share that information.
I agree with Akron. Why do we care what the church thinks of you?
That's why. Because I'm able only to share this information that keeps you safe from them.
Yeah,
Wow.
This insider information I think is valuable. I'd rather not fall victim to, any ambush really, but specifically not from them.
Okay,
This is
so let me
valuable.
get this straight. You wanna go back to the whole dressing up, pretending to be slaves kind of idea?
We don't need to dress up. We just get captured by them. They're slavers. We would be worthy, valuable slaves. It looks like we're being captured to the church. Whether or not you would be turning us in or also captured as well is up to you, whatever you think works best for you. But the wolves would be in on it as well. It's a simple ambush, just like the one that happened the other day. Except instead of winning this time, we get caught.
Aaron looks up to the sky to check the angle of the sun, to try and hopefully determine where they may be in terms of distance away from the capital to the crossroads. And then looks to Ginevra and says, "We already told them that we were going to be going to the tavern. How do you expect us to get in contact with the wolves? It's not like they have men on horses delivering letters."
Well, that's why I was going to ask you. You know more about them than I do. How you would be able to get in contact with them. The only other person I know who knows about them is, or has some ties to them, is from what you told me, is Yardren. And we also have reason to slow down based off of the information that Tia has been receiving. There's a reason why she would potentially want to go back. Worried for her family.
It's true that, well, Jadron left after me and probably had a better standing with the wolves than I did. I don't know if he's kept in touch with them. I don't know if he can contact them.
There's a man in the town that can. Sorry.
A man?
I forget his name, but he's Mara's father. I overheard him and his son talking about the war effort, and his son, whose name I also forget because I really didn't care, was asking to be sent to the wolves instead of to the war, which gives me reason to believe that this father has the means to contact them.
It matters little to me which way we go, as long as we get there. I was on board with pretty much anything that you had in plan, as long as it didn't involve dressing up. But,
we could just kill them.
We could just kill them. What's stopping us? And I thought the whole point of us, luring them in was so that we could, prove their failure, and then they would go away. According to Acheron.
This would be a way that they would fail.
Yeah, if they fail to kill Aaron, probably. And depending on their standing, it could very well get them killed.
Well,
I mean, the problem is there'd be witnesses, and we'd have to deal with that debacle, but casualties happen.
I'd rather minimize those if there's a way to get around it. And again, this was one of the plans we were thinking of doing in the first place. It's just altered a little.
What do you care about
You
more?
don't need to dress up, Aaron.
Civilian lives, or you're standing in the church?
We don't have to risk civilian lives or my standing in the church with this way.
If we turn around and they decide that it's best to attack Aaron while he's in that town, or regardless, anyone who is there with us also disappears. We're risking civilian lives either way.
With that logic, they could attack at any time anyway. So,
Yeah.
at least this way, this seems to be a way that would minimize that, other than going there. There is one more thing as well. They did say that if Aaron became aware of this plan somehow, then I should light a candle at my window. I don't know what they would do after that, but...
Well, that just sounds like the simplest solution, though, doesn't it? Don't bother changing course. We're like a day and a half away.
The problem is that I don't know what they would do if that happened. Maybe they would attack anyway. This way, we either, if they do decide to attack us, we have the wolves also there to help. Or they don't decide to attack us.
You have a lot of faith in these wolves. I don't know why you do.
I was just
They're
thinking.
at least an extra barrier than us being open and on our own.
Bandits, I mean, sure, there's honor among thieves in a way, but that's mostly just a hope, not an actual binding agreement that anybody has to stick by. If they want to sell us out, they absolutely could. Probably for more coin than they could probably get from anywhere else.
Unless we had someone from the
if we're
wolves
cargo,
actually
then
with us. I think we would have to have an introduction if they didn't want to turn like that. I have no guarantee that Gregor is actually favorable towards me. We didn't leave on negative terms, but it wasn't overly positive either. Whether or not they will agree to help us is one thing. I imagine they would if we gave them a decent offer, but I don't know about you, but I'm not exactly flowing with riches right now. There's a lot of ifs in this story, and again, there's no certainties that would work. And
there's no certainties that any way will work, honestly.
Well, like I said,
even less certainties with using the candle. I have literally no idea what would happen after that, and honestly, it would probably just delay the problem. At least with this way, we get over the mountain with extra bodies around us, even if we're in cages.
When it's come to these kind of situations before, I've always let Tia do the decision making. I just project.
You know, I really don't want to be put in a cage.
I don't think you'll be put in a cage, Chaperon. Maybe fake manacled, but I wouldn't say a cage.
At a certain point, the wolves, hand the slaves over to a secondary bandit group, which is the Blackbirds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck! Never mind. We absolutely cannot do that.
Well, that was the plan. That was the plan all along, to get there. The Blackbirds are by the mountains, so we would be couriered there, and then the plan changes. You're not going to be delivered as slaves.
Yeah, but we have one problem. Theoretically, if the women in that letter that I marked up are Blackbirds, did you forget the part where they check people for priest marks? And we have one on her forehead with us?
I'm not suggesting that we walk into the Blackbirds camp and say, here we are. I'm suggesting that original plan was to use the wolves for safe passage through the forest to the mountains, and then make a new plan when we reach the foothills.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. As long as we don't run into blackbirds. That's the other.
Well, that's
I
one.
mean, we might
We
anyway.
we could always run into them on the road as well, but still, again, Tia, what do you think?
I have other things on my mind right now, but if I speak my piece, I don't. Perhaps I've changed my tune a little bit, but I don't think I trust this bandit group not to sell us out for anything, really. Either
But if
to
we
the church
pose
or...
it, instead that Aaron is wanting to sell us out, and to us, we understand it as we're going to check that they're all okay, but really, he's selling us over, then we just get couriered over with him. And they don't have to know about anything, any plan. That's just for us.
Doesn't stop the church from approaching them and offering them a better deal, does it?
No.
So,
But then at least we have extra people to defend ourselves in that case.
speaking of extra people, there's a possibility. Don't put too much salt on this, but there's a possibility that those under Irene and those watching Aaron are not of the same group, and therefore would not like each other, assuming they're after different targets. Assuming that the group trying to kill Aaron would also kill you, Tia, and Irene really wants you, we might have help anyway.
Well, we can't stay in this field forever.
My vote is, sorry, Ginevra, but your connections with the church don't help us very much if we just plan on fucking them over anyways. Because once we get beyond that mountain, your church status means dick all. So, my vote's
You planning to live over the mountain? Them. You don't really want to return?
If I return, your church status won't save me or you from the hell that will be wrought. Let me start with that. There's no way this ends good.
That's a bit fatalistic.
No, I'm not saying that the church is gonna get us. I'm announcing a plan. That's on my part. I'm not gonna be on the receiving end of the hell that's coming. If everything goes well. There's one way I return. And it's not to face death or as a prisoner or to hide anymore.
Why are you waiting?
Because I don't have the power right now, but I mean, we are going after something that theoretically is very powerful.
So you plan to just use the artifact to get enough power to come back and take down the church?
Maybe. There's other places that I'm sure would love to buy church secrets as well. There's lots of ways to go about this.
Sorry to break up this lovely interchange of information, but we're still standing in a field.
I say we kill them. Straight out. But I'll follow what you guys want to do.
I think it's gonna be, well, Ginevra obviously wants to return to Cedar Falls, I guess. Try and talk to Jadron. Try and get the ear of the wolves. Or the other man, some sort of connection. Masquerade is that I've turned the way that I feel regarding slaves and bring 3, including a lady from the church, to the wolves with the intention to go to the blackbirds to sell. Akron, you want to straight up carry on going, and if it means murder, then murder. Tia's, well, You haven't said much.
It's hard to parse my thoughts when I am a little bit occupied with other things. This is less logic and more just impulse, but I am not in the mood for turning around.
Sorry, Jennifer.
Okay. And we keep going. Just wanted to say my piece and give my plan. I don't know what'll happen.
Well, at least now we know to prepare, right? Nothing else.
I hope that whatever happens, fewest people have to suffer.
That's fine. I know that all of us are somewhat emotional right now. But being frank, emotions do nothing but make us weak right now, and now's not a time for weakness. Do what you have to. Cry, scream, throw stuff. Moving forward, emotions are not going to help you, and sentiments like mercy and stuff are only going to move to get you killed further. So
I'd
it's
rather
nice to
die
have
merciful than live as one without mercy.
Well, then I wish you a quick death. Do what you will, I can't control you.
Not entirely sure that we would get that much help around here very quickly either, and if I don't know if your letter seems to be distracting you, Tia. So if we're sitting around doing nothing, would that be better or worse?
I want to move.
Then we move. Are you done with your apples?
No apples left.
No apples. With your squirrel mix, your nut,
Your pretty flowers. Pretty flowers.
Oh.
watermelon, your horses.
Yep.
You pack up your stuff, put the saddles back on your horses, and start heading down the road once more. Whew, things got tense there for a second. Now you continue riding into the afternoon hours. You're still in this very sparsely populated area of Allwood. You disregard the small hamlets that pass you by. Some of them has tough men or women standing on watch outside of it, eyeing you suspiciously as you pass, but they look like they haven't had enough food, so if they are actually a threat to you or not is up to debate. The only Strasser you have seen so far has been traveling up and down the road, not paying any attention to you. You also gather by passing by these hamlets that there are a lot of idle hands walking around with desperation clear in their eyes. But the silence continues beyond some idle chit-chat. Question mark?
I would like to speak to Geneva briefly.
Okay.
Titania just kind of eyes downcast, just walks her horse beside Geneva's and says, I hope you don't take this too harshly. I really appreciate you being willing to offer that information as a gesture of trust.
She puts her hand on Tia's arm and says, "It's okay. I said my piece. I try to avoid more bloodshed, and things will go as they will. I understand. I couldn't fully imagine how you're feeling right now, so I understand.
Thank you for sticking by our side.
Whether they believe it or not, I do care for each of you, so...
I don't think Acheron believes anybody cares for them, but I try my best, you know?
She definitely believes you too. Maybe the only one.
I can only hope.
How are you doing?
Not well.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I mean, just being here as an ally is as much as you can do right now, I think.
I just thought, I still don't fully understand the way you work. She kind of moves her hands a little bit.
Oh.
But
yeah.
I may have something of use to you, maybe in this situation as well. And she kind of rifles in her bag and again takes out one of the sending scrolls, the one to the Queen, and just tries to, in between them, unroll it slightly and say, I think this is linked to the Queen, but maybe you, with your stuff, can do something with it to speak to your family.
I have some ideas. Has Titania ever used a scroll to learn a spell before, or does she just know the process? I don't think so. I think she just knows how to.
I'm pretty sure that you started off with, like, the spell book that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, had copied down a spell for you, and then slowly but surely it was added. I think that you were taught once how to do it, but for speed's sake, I think they did most of it for you. So you have some knowledge of it, of how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Titania will look at it and say, oh goodness, yeah, that I have some ideas. If you don't mind me holding on to it.
Yeah, she presses it into your hand. Says, sorry, I was just watching The Lord of the Rings and it immediately came to me, keep it secret, keep it safe.
Keep it secret.
Yeah, just keep it secret, keep it safe.
Of course. Of course. Hopefully,
I hope it helps.
I can't. Oh, I can't thank you enough for this. I'll take a look at it tonight when I'm doing my reading. Thank you. Alright. Titania will put it away and return to her position in the marching order.
Alright. I mean, everything that has been happening, it's not enough to make everything better, but for a second you do have your mind wandering in other directions. Which is nice. Alright. Okay. More hours of tedious riding passes. The sun in the sky slowly waning towards the treetops. Night approaches. The clouds are now covering about half of the sky. And the temperature has dropped. Not only for night time, but also as a sign of a shift in the weather. And Aaron, you know somewhere around these parts that could be a pretty good place to camp for the night. It's something akin to a cave, but not fully a cave, but able to have your backs safe and some protection from any wind or rain.
Is it something that I know myself, or do I know that it's a popular place to go?
Hmm. I mean, it's pretty close to the road, so there is a possibility that somebody else, would have found it. But it's not like you have shown it to somebody else, if that makes sense.
Sure, but it's not like it would be necessarily a secret place. It would just be a location that a landmark on the road that a lot of travelers tend to use as cover for the night.
Yes. Or you can just travel further into the forest, just straight, go like half an hour inwards and just find some kind of thick ass place where trees are in a thicket and try to bunker down in the bush and the moss.
It's like half of one, 6 of the other. It's kind of the same few. Okay,
It'd
no,
be better to have our backs covered.
Yeah, exactly. So it's either we'd be alone and difficult to find, or harder to find, or we just be more defensible. So yeah, okay, no, you'll go to the standard, or at least to lead the caravan towards a common place by the road.
Do you tell us it's a cave before we get there?
It's not a cave.
It's not okay.
It's more like an overhang.
Yes, exactly. It's when you get there, it's traveling about 5 minutes away from the road in a little forest path. There's this very steep hill that is both. It is stone at the bottom, but there's a bunch of small bushes and flowers and grass that has been growing over it and some moss. It's not a 90-degree angle, but pretty close to it. And then there's a bit of an overhang creating an indention into the hillside where the ground has been flattened, flat dirt, and there's a little bit of stones that have been put in a circle. There's nobody here, and it's dry. It's a bit protected from the wind. But somebody has definitely been here a few days ago, considering the wood and the ash and the footprints in the dust.
As Aaron leads the party to this overhang, he's gonna dismount but stay by Zelia for a quick second as the others are still mounted, and says, "This is a common spot. This is well traveled and well used. Means that we are somewhat sheltered from the elements, and it looks like rain. But if you don't want to stay here, I'm sure I can find somewhere else."
This is fine by me.
I think well traveled is maybe safer.
I wouldn't always be sure of that, but so be it. And you lead Celia in further to the overhang, and just lets the bridle go.
Acheron just kind of looks at the rocky overhang with maybe a little bit of displeasure, like a little bit of a displeased look, but doesn't actively be like absolutely not.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's not actually large enough to have all 4 horses and all of you inside of there. It's basically just enough for 3 tents and like nothing else.
Yeah, the horses will be outside.
Yeah.
Celia might be able to squeeze in, maybe.
Poor horses. But you do your normal thing, set up camp like normally, falling into habits by now. You know who likes to go and pick up wood. You know the one who likes to go to the stream and fill the water skin, set up the tents. And
just depending on what our usual jobs are, Acheron is spending as much time not under the overhang as possible.
Okay, you go zooming into the woods for wood. First to sign up for water skin duty, I guess.
I will say, at some point throughout the night, Titania wants to begin. I actually no, she can't. So I was looking through the spellbook descriptions, and first of all, I want to talk to you a bit later because it refers to, it says the process takes 2 hours per level of the spell and consumes soul points equal to the level of the spell to copy it down. Now I control F. I was like, soul points. I don't know exactly what that is. So I control F for it.
Potency, yeah, potency.
Oh, potency. So, gotcha.
A wild points remains.
So, okay. But the spell has to be of a level lower than Titania's level. She is level 3, and this is a 3rd level spell, so I can't actually do it yet. I mean, I don't have the spell slots for it either, so.
But you know what can be done tonight? My poison.
Let's go!
Last step.
Which vegetable do you have to cook now?
Oh my god.
It's finally the last step.
It's been like 5 days.
It has been. I've been doing this every day.
Okay. It's a bit stressy.
I'm so excited. Finally. Poison.
Poison.
Okay.
It's really upsetting if the bowl just tips over.
Yeah, natural 1.
Alright, sit down.
Oh god.
Sit down by the fire. You start eating. Acheron's thoughts are just full of carrot poison. And underneath this hot starry sky and a waning moon through the cloud cover, you realize that tomorrow evening you will probably reach Spruce Cross. It's a little bit of pressure hanging in the air. But you finish your dinner. Acheron, you bring out your tools and are about to start going when there's a chunk
Don't
in the night.
stop. No.
I mean, there is a jerk.
Chunk. Like an arrow into a tree trunk.
No, I heard it. I heard there's a...
hitting a tree trunk a bit outside of the camp.
You can't.
I can.
No, you
sigh.
I
Just so heavily.
Tanya's head in hands right now.
Just stands up, dagger out. I'm not fucking around anymore. Let's go find out what this is.
Okay.
No, I'm bringing Aaron's ass with me if it's the nighttime, because if this motherfucker can see in the dark, he's coming with me. I'm gonna point to Aaron and be like...
Do you see, like, we can hear, like, the location of where it hit. Is it nearby, or is it into the
Yeah, I mean, for the humans in the party, they basically just saw a little bit of, for a very quick second, steel glimmering. But you kind of see where it has landed. It's about, yeah, perhaps 50 meters away or so from the line of the camp. Edge of the camp.
15.
Oh yeah, right. You have 12, right? Yeah. If you walk out in the forest a little bit, you can see it there. Hanging.
Well, no, I mean the lights. I don't know.
Yeah, right. You also have the campfire. Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
humans
like.
have a little bit harder
Oh.
time
Okay.
discerning it.
It's nearby, Acheron. I'll go get it. I go get it.
Okay.
Okay, whatever.
You approach
It's right there.
the crossbow bolt nailed into this tree trunk.
Ooh, actually, I'm going with him. I don't want him to go. I'm not letting this motherfucker walk into the forest alone right after we find out they want to kill him. Actually, that was a bad idea. I'm going with him.
You think
The
you
buddy
15 meters away.
scurry,
buddy system.
scurry up behind him.
I don't need a chaperone now, girl.
Ekron just like glares up at you.
Do you worry for me?
Yes, you're very useful.
Understood. It's just up here.
And Aaron, attached, like before, to the crossbow bolt is this slightly faded white rectangle. But it is stamped again in red. But there's no
I wouldn't
symbol.
know that. If
No
it's
symbol.
in the dark.
No, right, it's stamped, but you see no symbol on the stamp.
Does it look more like a parcel or a letter?
Remind me, what's the difference?
Like
Package.
a letter would be usually just paper, but a parcel or a package usually has something heavier in it.
Paper
no,
wrapped around
it's-
an object.
It seems just to be paper. It doesn't seem that heavy.
Okay. I reach up and grab the bolt and take the letter off
Do you
of
want to
the...
read it, or should I?
Well, this is something that Aaron's holding and just like looks to it and says, well, the last one, I don't know, it seemed to really impact you.
That's why I'm asking which one of us should read it before we decide if we tell her.
So Tia hasn't seen it. Didn't we all see that the
Yeah,
arrow?
yeah, but you're staying
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
camp once Aaron and Acheron just went 10 meters away.
I'm kind of a bit behind. I'm not trying to like get in and see the letter, but I'm
You have stood up and you walked a little bit outside
Yeah.
of the camp, looking at it.
yeah.
When
But-
Titania hears it, she just like sighs, puts her head in her hands, and just sits next to the fire like this.
Yeah, and so that's why I'll look back to Titania to see what her reaction is and see that and be like, oh, okay, I'll stay with Titania. And I'll just kind of sit next to
Yeah.
Titania.
Okay, it's okay, it's okay.
One of us
Yeah,
is
like-
reading this letter first. Is it you or me?
Hey, well, how good are you at reading letters in the dark?
I mean, about as good as I'm reading in the light. Reading is reading. Who's reading this?
Aaron kind of like half chuckles and opens the letter.
Agron just looks so exasperated with you.
Okay, so Aaron is the one who opens up this letter, huh?
Okay.
Uh-huh. He has no context, so this is gonna be fun.
It's unmarked,
fine.
so
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably read it eventually.
There you go. Scroll
oh
down.
boy.
Plain letter. Okay. Would you like me to read for the class, or?
That's up to you, I think.
You may read it first if you want to, but then for the
Okay.
class, so the stream can also hear. So the rest of you are just like sitting or standing and just looking at Aaron as he
Pat.
reads this. Tanya is just dying a little bit inside by the fire.
Yeah. She's like just trying to distract herself by like reading through this ending scroll, like trying to parse out some information from it.
I think Agron would be dying inside if they weren't already completely dead. Like hollowed out and everything.
How long is this
Oh
now?
my god.
A small square, did you say?
It's some tiny ass writing.
It's really small.
Yeah.
Front and back.
16 pages.
So, is it anything fun this time, or?
You know what, Crown? I'm not entirely sure you should read this.
Alright, let me read it.
No, that is literally the opposite of what I just said.
I will actually steal it or stab you.
Aaron's golden eyes glimmer in the darkness. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to take something away from you because it's yours.
No, you're trying to protect me.
No, I'm not trying to do that either. I'm trying to protect me.
I won't do anything. I promise. You can have my weapons if you wish. I'd really like to know now. I give you my vow that no harm shall come to you as a result of me reading this letter. You can kill me yourself if I break it or whatever.
It mentions you. It mentions me.
Oh, well, that's fun.
It mentions an opportunity for you and Titania.
Oh, well, that's fun. Whoa.
Aaron seriously considers not handing it to Acheron.
Alright.
This isn't my place. I mean, it was just random chance, right, that I would read this, not you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Probably.
What does this ex-lover mean to you right now? How do you feel about this person, knowing that she could be alive?
I'm guessing that you're wanting an honest answer, not deflection.
That'll be nice.
Truthfully, being completely honest, I don't know. There is not... Everything I've lost in my life has been taken by the church. And the idea of getting someone back after I've lost literally everyone, Tia the exception, that I have ever cared about, is honestly exceptionally off-putting. Death has always been so permanent. The idea of actually getting something back. I don't know.
Well, you didn't really answer my question.
I love her. I'm not gonna kill you over it.
But what would you give to have her back in your life?
A lot. I wouldn't kill you over it. Truth of the matter is, I know you. And unfortunately for me, I think you're genuinely a good person. If you weren't such a pain in the ass, we might actually become friends eventually. That being said, I'm exceptionally used to the idea of her being dead. And I'm not entirely fond of doing, if this is the church's bidding. My feelings are complicated, but I wouldn't kill you over them. For something that you didn't yourself do, I guess.
Aaron folds up the paper, puts it back in the envelope, and in the darkness looks down to Acheron, takes her hand, thrusts the paper into her hand, and says, "She's alive." And leaves Acheron in the darkness and walks back to the campfire.
Oh shit.
May I see the letter, please?
Yes.
Why do I get a letter? I don't want one.
I go back to the fire and read out loud. The stream is like holding
Yeah.
onto the seat.
Yes. Is it plain letter?
Yes.
No,
Scroll down for you, please.
Yes, I see.
It's even hard for me.
Wait, it's the one titled Plain Letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read it once
Okay.
myself, and then I'll go through it.
All right. Acheron goes to the fire, angles slightly.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not showing up with this letter until I know what it says.
How do you read?
I'll move closer, but not. If either of them come towards me, I'll fix them with the take another step and you're losing body parts look.
Fair. Okay.
So.
DM.
Fair.
TM. Yes, thank you, Jude.
Okay. Miss Titania Leonor Canalux, please don't make this any harder than it has to be. You know what I have in the palm of my hand. Contrary to what you believe, I don't wish to use it. No, I prefer you come back willingly. I do miss you. In return, I will ensure the safety of your loved ones. Even that runaway agent that is without no doubt reading this letter right now, Agent 729904, do not lead Titania amiss. Protect her and give her back to my safe embrace. If you do, you will continue having contact with Medea and Titania. You and Medea will be her personal bodyguards. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Too nice, you might think. There is work to be done to atone for what you have done, but there is a path forward, Acheron, with me. You cannot run from me, Titania. Instead, let's talk about what makes you happy and see if we can make some compromises. You may continue investigating the Raven Wars and their artifact if you like, but then you need to submit to my people there. Send me reports and follow orders. They will keep you safe, and if you behave, they will tell you more. And keep that pet Aaron around. I would like to speak to him. Afterwards, you are coming back to Ainur, but if you continue running around like an insolent child not listening to me, there will be consequences. Damn, used my full name and everything. That's so rude. Yeah, Macron's gonna fold that letter up and tuck it in a pocket and go back to the fire.
Not tell Titania, how'd you know?
I mean, they saw me put the letter away, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything about it as I approach.
I was gonna look at Aaron as he kind of came back before and just say, bad news?
I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't really apply to me.
More letters for Tia.
And Acheron. But it's their business, I guess. He's taken a moment in the dark, just on the edge there, just to... I asked her a few questions before I give it to her.
As Acheron returns, Acheron's gonna walk back to the fire and he's gonna put a hand on Aaron's shoulder and give him a friendly, there's no hostility in the look, just give you a nod and then sit back down with my poison.
Okay.
Should Tia read the letter if it mentions her?
If I thought Tia should read the letter, don't you think I would have given it to her?
I mean, if it's to do with her as well, isn't fair for her to be able to read it.
I would like to read it.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We've got more than enough to think about, Tia. I don't think you need more on your plate.
I'll let you read it once I think your brain might not explode.
Definitely not good news then.
I mean, it's not bad news. It's nothing we didn't know already, I'll say that.
Aaron wants to judge Acheron's like emotional state in a way. I know she is quite well, they're quite, reserved and can flick between stoic and, well, catatonic. But that's basically what he wants to identify, whether or not it is an obvious shift of, first, kind of showing strength while they walked out there, and like the difference of coming back.
Do you want him to roll a spin, or should you just tell?
Yeah, go ahead and roll. I don't think it's gonna be a super high DC necessarily. No, that's definitely good. What were you looking for again? Sorry.
He's determining whether or not the difference of your emotional state for going out there and like when we're in the dark, and then after you read it on the edge of the campfire light and coming back down to your poison. Because he knows what's in the letter.
Yeah, there's been, and from the darkness to here, there's not much. It's more, I guess, the only thing that's really changed necessarily is there's a certain deadness in the eyes, I guess, that was a little less strong. Like it's I'll say it's been like getting progressively worse throughout, especially like the day, but now it's just like whether it's a wall that's up or what's happening, there's just a certain dead look behind the eyes now, but there's no change in hostility or anything like that.
Okay, Aaron's gonna pay particular attention to Acheron this evening, as not from watching you like you're sus or whatever, but more from the changes of the emotional state that they go through, because there is a chance, at least to Aaron, that their emotional state may fluctuate towards acceptance of possibility, and he does not want that to be the case.
Fair.
Yeah.
And as Acheron continues poking around her carrot juice, Aaron watching her closely, Dinerva trying to comfort Titania a little bit. I'm gonna go for a quick break. Woo!
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Damn, I can't believe I was right when I was like, oh, it's probably Irene. I was like, it can't be Irene. This has to be something else.
Yeah, I was actually surprised too. But I'm
also
happy that the reveal came at the same episode that you thought about it. So you're like, yes! Gauge that.
Oh, I've been saying this is Irene since Ginevra got told about. I'm like Irene's gonna show up. Someone owes me $20 now because of this.
Okay, so the other group that's following is Irene's people.
Yeah.
That's the assumption I'm operating under.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and it seems like Medea's with them.
Yeah.
That's the assumption I'm operating under.
Yeah, I mean, she could be just lying, but.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, go and empty your bladders, do some stretches, get some more drink. Yeah. Go walk the dog.
Alrighty.
I don't know.
Go my dog.
I don't think there's enough time to walk the dog.
No, that's true. Go pet the dog. Go pet the dog. The dog, should get some pets. Alright, I need to go refill some water.
Mm-hmm.
man, I love that. Hope you're having a great time, Shad. Musty, once again, thank you for doing the command so often. Blaze, I hope you're doing good. And Cookie, so happy to have you here. And then Jamie as well. You're almost here every Thursday watching with us, Jamie. So happy for that. And Moonbow is probably somewhere in the background as well, listening in. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And Diorak as well. Jutterunt. Oh my god, we have quite a few people right now, which is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Well, my players definitely deserve all of these viewers. They're doing an awesome job with this pretty heavy roleplay that we've been having and all the intricacies and complexities of it. Always watching here while making a Kinku. Ooh, love it. Yeah, I'm very happy if our role-playing helps to give people inspiration, and I always said it's pretty easy to get productive and creative when you have some kind of productive and creative stream in the background. Welcome. Welcome back.
Hello.
So that just happened.
I was right. I love it when I'm right, except for that I don't. I'm always right about the bad stuff. I'm always right about the bad. I'm always like, lol, wouldn't it be so funny if this terrible thing happened to my character? And then...
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like you set this up for me, no?
I mean, I give you pain so that you may use it against me.
Heck yeah. Absolutely.
All of the pain in the backstory is meant to be weaponized.
Well. Yes,
so.
In a way, I guess. Either by you or me.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Either you're using it against me or I'm using it against everyone else.
Yeah.
Gotta stay. Dark Acheron, we stand. I was not expecting them to the Dark Acheron to come out this soon. I'm so stoked.
Oh my god, I want to put that message on a pedestal, Moonbow. We actually got a cat message in chat. We should feel truly blessed. The cat just tried to remove the keys on my keyboard? Oh no.
A cat
We
message.
got a cat?
Let's a cat message.
We got a cat message, an accidental cat message. I feel blessed.
So, lol, Titania, you and I.
Some thinking to do. But not
also,
really. Titania's decision was already made a long time ago.
Same. I'm glad that both of us are both of us already. The decision is, which will you pick, your family or what you think is right? And both of us are like, we chose to sacrifice our family years ago.
Oh my god.
We've already chosen, but I think it's funny. But I will say the one part I was not that's not true. The one part that I was not expecting to be right is Irene having people in Ravenmore territory. I said that as a joke. The people who I said that to were like, lol, that's so far-fetched. I was like, it can't be true.
Well, I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm gonna say more.
Yeah, of course you do.
I mean, the letter says so.
Yeah.
She can claim anything she wants.
This is true. But also, no, this is true. Which is why we're going to kill her.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I don't need luck. I have Aaron.
I'm just saying, to be a cardinal.
Yeah, we know she's the big bad evil guy we set up. That was the intention.
Step one.
Who made this? It was
Depose the president of Malgrave. That is step one.
Oh god. You're level. Okay, well, good luck. All I'm saying.
I don't need luck. I have political secrets.
Yeah.
We have long-term goals. It's fine.
Well,
who
I
needs
got
luck when I
blades in the dark. Come at me.
Who needs luck when I know how she got into power?
Drops fall. We're in the middle of the forest.
There will be great violence.
There will. Oh wait, there's already a war between the church and someone. I don't even need to start one this time.
What?
Heck yeah. Isn't the church
What?
fighting someone right now?
They're like kind of conquering East Creek, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have already conquered it. It's just dealing with their pockets
Yeah.
of existence that resist.
No, in Greenfield.
They're doing
Yeah,
an imperialism.
Yeah, sure. It's a branch of the church. It's a green branch in Greenfield that is fighting the Baronish. And I mean, there's many people who has been speculating that once the church in East Creek feels completely safe, perhaps in a year or two, they're gonna march north.
So you're saying there's a lot of political strife that we could definitely stoke into a full-fledged war.
It's almost like I created a lot of varied situations. Wow!
Whoa!
Wow!
It's like a world.
Imagine.
Wow!
I'm
almost
just
like-
saying, a war would be very distracting. It might suck for some people, but it'll be very distracting.
Wait, are you willing to start a war to get
Yes.
some personal, like,
Absolutely.
solitude? Oh god. Oh, yeah.
100%.
Let's start a forest fire.
No, not for me, but for Titania, absolutely.
Well,
Jesus.
Titania's
If that's not
goal
love.
is not personal revenge. It's
Oh, mine is.
Yeah.
the revenge would be nice, but it's not the
There we
the
go.
first thing.
Well, you'll get to take down the church. I'll get to revenge on, like, for both of us.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Either way, as we have gathered here around this campfire, let's start this up again. So, in I guess frustrated curiosity from both Titania and Geneva, and this tense stare-off between, you know, or I should say, not between, but Aaron towards Acheron. Is there something you say or do other than continue with the poisoning?
Titania, after the end of that conversation, heads to her tent.
Okay.
Yeah, she's done.
She's done.
She's done.
She's done.
Aw.
She's done for the day.
Good night. Ginevra was going to approach Aaron. It doesn't actually necessarily to approach him. He's just sitting across from her at the fire,
Yes.
so you can just
Yes.
talk to him.
You turn
But
towards it.
yeah, and just ask him if I wish to speak to you more about your past and where you're from and your life, would you be willing to answer?
I thought Tyr was the one that was after culture.
No. I just want to learn more about you.
Why?
Because I find you interesting, and I haven't met anyone like you, and I don't know anyone who's been in the war you've been in, and imagine there's so much that you could, so much you've seen, so much that you could tell that. I don't know whether you've had many people to talk to about it.
How about for every question you ask, I ask a question to you?
Okay.
No lying.
Okay. I'll go first.
Sure.
You said before that you were looking for survivors of those that fought the war against you. How did that connect with Titania's work looking for artifacts?
That's a complicated question.
I have to make them count.
It matters to me who won that war. Because, and how that relates to Titania is, well, those that chose to fight opposite me used similar sort of magic. But they knew where it came from. They knew how to harness it far better than Titania. It seems like she's just getting used to it.
Similar magic to Titania after the icon?
That's two questions.
You were being vague.
Yes, after, well, you've learned quite a lot these past few nights from a few strangers that you have been saddled with. You've discovered that it is possible to take someone's soul who is recently deceased in a not so friendly way. You've learned that there are other soul marks that are not of Rion. You've learned that there is a sect of the church that is actually enforcing and empowering those with a mark that is not of Rion. I imagine you're going to learn that the world is not exactly as what you thought it was. Part of me feels that's what you want anyway. Titania's mark is from a fiendish nature. I don't know exactly which one, but there are several. That answer your question?
So they used fiendish magic, is what you're saying?
I'm saying that Titania doesn't know the location of where she's drawing this power from, but I don't think she really has that within her to understand yet.
And those who fought you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so that connects to Titania's work looking for artifacts because you might better understand the magic they were using, or maybe looking for the same things. Could give you clues.
That's another question.
All right. Then ask your question.
On the
You wanna
other
do
side of
something
the
that-
fire,
Yeah, yeah.
Acheron lets out the tiniest thank fuck. As she holds up 2 vials, bottled. Just wanted to let everybody know that.
Let's go.
Sorry, carry on.
Very,
Carrots,
like,
finally.
Zelda.
Finally bringing- It's the happiest we've seen Acheron in a long time.
Is there
Yeah,
like the
basically.
tiniest of fist pumps?
You just whole time you just hear thanks.
Success, kid.
Necron puts them away and just returns to listening to you two talk.
You gotta clean up your shit, dude. Just just like the kitchen and then just leave it.
Continue to eavesdrop. No, I'm not risking missing out on eavesdropping on you two. Sit back and continue listening to you two.
I've been in the forest for a while. I only made it out occasionally. One of those instances was to take a job with Titania. So my information is lacking. How much do you know about the church and its actual strength?
I have been in it for 10 years, so I have a fairly good understanding of how it works. I don't know everything. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of Acheron's side of the church. I only really kind of had an inkling of their kind of existence. And I know that they have a presence in a large number of kingdoms.
You don't know much.
It's quite a general question. I mean, do you want me to go through all my training?
No, I mean, I won't. That was a very direct question. I wanted to know what it meant to you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't know about what's going on with Acheron and Titania. You don't know about what's going on elsewhere. So I'm just going to assume that you don't know anything.
I don't understand what you mean. I don't... Oh, you mean as in I don't know about the Irene's plans?
Or anything. I wanted to know if you knew the extent of how far the church's grasp reaches. But that's on
Pretty
me.
far.
You didn't really phrase that question very well.
You have to make them count.
Apparently so.
Maybe I'll give you another chance for another question.
Go on.
You said there was a period of lost time after the war and now. What did you mean by that?
It means I don't know the answer.
It was just blank time? You don't know what happened? You woke up and suddenly it was however many years later?
Pretty much. I don't know exactly how much time passed. I don't have a good understanding of calendars like Tia does. I don't keep track of years.
You know the year now, right?
I know what it's called now, yeah.
It wasn't called the same thing when you before you lost time?
You call it 742. 742 AE? AEF? AER?
AEF after Empire funding.
Freaks me out. It's a number. It allows you to keep track of time.
You speak as if you don't use numbers to keep track of the years. Or you didn't? How old are you?
That's another question.
Well, I think I have a general answer if you don't know about using years to keep track of numbers to keep track of years. How much you must have seen.
Aaron looks pensive and somewhat just momentarily thoughtful at that comment.
She never kind of pays attention.
You human my next question. People that I've associated with don't exactly know this answer, and it's not like I've come up against people that are educated in the ways of this church. How has it come to be that people choose to worship Rian?
I guess I can speak of the history. I'll have to pull up the history in the book about
Well,
Gianor.
I can, you know, before Gianor came with salvation and illumination to humanity, humanity was enslaved by the spawns of the devils and the devils themselves. It was like hell on earth until Gianor arose and with his army and conquered everything and then removed all of those things and then happily ever after.
Okay, then I'll say because they believe there is no other one to worship.
You know that's not true now. You know that from Titania.
Whole beings of power worth worship.
Well, it depends on what you want to do. If you just want to live out your life as a farmer, then it makes little difference. If you want to wield the power that Rian gives you, and Fiend gives Titania, what's the difference?
One would argue that one is done out of grace and one is done out of a desire to bind one to their will.
There is no difference. You are still bound.
Who are you bound to?
No one anymore.
And yet you still cast magic. How can that be?
Aaron looks at his hand. You know, I don't rightly know that answer.
Does that concern you?
I have a lot of questions, and there's not enough hours in this night to answer them.
Maybe now you understand how I feel.
Since we're both looking for answers, Ginevra, I'm surprised that you still have so many questions after all that you have been indoctrinated to understand. I hope that these past few days have been eye-opening.
Maybe I'm not as indoctrinated as you think.
He points to his forehead. You got that on purpose. It was your choice. Tanya, I'm not going to say that was her choice. Maybe it was. I can't rightly say. It's unusual. to agree to such a thing, but then again, I don't really know Titania all that well. Based on her reactions, it could either be an entire front, and Acheron is out. Very, gives Acheron this, coy, sarcastic look. Titania could be an all-powerful genius.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Or she could also be indoctrinated in another way. Who knows what goes on inside that head, because she seems to be a little scatterbrained, even with the smallest information when it comes to her family. Someone who has that sort of mental composure. Who knows if that brain of hers is fragmented. So, indoctrination doesn't have to be an acceptance. It can also be forced. I'm just very curious why you chose to do such a thing.
I looked at Acheron because she's raised her voice.
Yeah. Now that I've been acknowledged, Acheron's gonna look at the two of you who's been there watching you two for a while and just goes, do I get to ask a question?
Only if we can ask one back. That's the game.
Sure, you've already outed all of my most painful secrets. I don't think there's anything left for you to drag up.
To be fair, that was you outing them.
Sure, if that makes you feel better. So, Aaron, what the fuck are you?
You haven't played this game before, have you, Acheron?
I don't understand the question. Don't you have to answer my question first?
Yes, he does.
Does this count as your question? Fine, I want a new question. Okay, new round. I want a new question.
Oh god.
Why don't you have pupils?
I wasn't born with them.
Okay, fair enough.
Should have stuck with your first question.
But then you'd have that information, and I like keeping you curious because then you're upset.
You think I'm upset when I'm curious?
No, but I think you really want to know, so delaying you getting that information is the most fun I can have right now.
I mean, I can just ask. It's part of the game.
Then he'll just go, good night, Ginevra. And walk off to bed.
No, he says that just for you, I think.
Oh, and special.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you guys get a question.
I looked at Aaron.
What happened? And he points to your neck.
Back in training, my last year, training was complicated. The rules, well, there were guidelines, and not everyone gets to graduate, and they have nothing against you harming or even killing other students so long as you don't get caught. Well, one girl, Maisie, was not doing quite well. We were paired for combat training a lot of the time, and she was really, really bad at it. Or worse than I was, I suppose. So, unlike me, she had friends, and one night they decided to get rid of the problem. Unfortunately, they were all idiots, and they got caught. And end of the term, Maisie, who broke bones in the fight, couldn't keep up, and disappeared. Her friends soon after. They used some kind of small, sharp wire. Guess they were hoping to either cut something vital enough or strangle me, which was quite honestly a very stupid decision. Yeah.
I admire your bravery.
What?
I admire your bravery.
Thank you. I don't understand what part was brave, but thank you, I guess.
You're welcome.
Whose turn is it now?
It's either Ginevra's or I get to ask Ginevra a question.
I love
I'm
just
not
getting to
sure
watch this.
Yeah.
I would be thinking like, oh, I want to be in there with all your questions.
As much as I would like to share what Titania has to say, I think this is more fun for me.
Yeah. Then we share the same spot, huh?
That was the end of my questions. So I was gonna go to bed.
No, I get to ask you a question. That's how this game works. Friend's gonna look at Ginevra. Do you seriously believe you can actually change things in the church? Genuinely?
I do.
Yikes.
And then is Ginevra supposed to ask Akron a question?
Yeah, I don't know. Akron has more questions, but the rules of the game are you only get one.
That's why you gotta be smart. It's like,
Just waiting
I was looking at Akron, I'm like,
expectantly.
yeah, you're the same level as me here.
It's waiting expectantly for my next question.
Alright. I like how we're playing 20 questions.
It always
It's
happens.
It just ends up playing 20 questions around the campfire. Do you really think that what you want, your life, your dreams, your future doesn't matter?
Yes.
Yikes.
I think I get who do I get another question?
You can ask one.
Why?
And if they have a question back, then they'll answer, and if not, then they won't.
Follow up to my last question. Why?
Why?
Do you think you can actually make a difference?
Because change is inevitable. And
That's
so,
an interesting thing for a priestess to say. Isn't Rian forever all-knowing, all-powerful?
I merely say change is inevitable.
Things are changing right now.
Such is the way of things.
I wonder if you are changing too, Ginevra.
Is that a question?
No. It's not a question. It's something that you can ask yourself. But you don't have to wait for another question back. We've been here on the road for a few nights now, filled with letters, emotion, and changing of theories of changing plans. You've seen a glimpse into my life, how brief it is. You've learned a lot of things. Hard to think that you wouldn't at least question what you've known in the face of contrasting information.
Why do you think I ask so many questions?
Because you doubt.
Because you like to be annoying and people tell you not to.
Maybe when I was younger. I said it from the beginning, I like to understand. That's all I want.
Understand information that you have no business needing to understand. You have already got your scripture. You've already got your ways. What business is of yours to see the difference?
And the devil's completely my business as someone's part of the church.
Are you here for the devils?
Why else would I be here?
I don't know. Why would you be here different in any other capacity?
There are a lot of questions.
I think we're done with the game, Acheron.
Oh, thank fuck. You two are very strange.
Honestly, I think I could say that about all of us, but
No, I think two are particularly strange. I mean, T is not exactly normal either, but
You know, I mean, it's another question, but feel free to not answer, but do you know why, or anything about Tia's induction? Do you have any knowledge about this?
in what sense? Like the process they went through, or how she came under Irene's control?
No, the process that she endured to get what the marks that she got. Do you know anything like that, or is that complete secret to you?
I wasn't privy to it, and we don't ask questions. At least we didn't before. It's kind of a understanding.
would it not be the same way that you gained yours?
Gained by what?
No, I'm
wait.
speaking.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
speaking to Aaron.
No.
Why not?
Well, for one, she's reading. She reads spells.
Mm.
She reads Coptic. Never seen that written down before, except for one other time, but it's different for sure. And what is confusing to me is just how easygoing you guys feel about it. That someone has been given the opportunity to just conjure power from a fiend, from a devil. And that's okay?
Isn't that a little contradictory?
What do you mean?
Aren't you able to do the same? With you don't even know where it comes from anymore.
I think his point is that his culture understood it, and you and I who are on the outside don't, and seem to be fine with it. Which
No,
brings
she's
a
right.
response. Oh. Fuck me then.
Not the same. I did understand it. I knew at one point. But when I woke up, there was a really big change. In fact, that probably happened before I slept.
It doesn't bother me because what point is there in fearing something that I inherently don't understand? Also, I don't know if you've noticed. I've kind of been groomed to not really give a fuck about much.
You kind of failed at that then.
Oh yeah, I got emotional over the one girl I've ever loved, sue me.
I wouldn't say there was just one that you love. And his eyes go to the tent.
I mean,
Jennifer smiles.
in a platonic way. It's not like I plan to run away from the agents and get married with her. But shit happens. Don't worry about that though. I apologize for my emotional outburst earlier. I agree that it was a very stupid move on my part, and I've taken steps to ensure that it won't happen again.
Aaron looks at Acheron and wants to judge whether or not that means a form
It's
of
not a-
locking.
It's not about what was in the letter. It's...
No, he wants to know if she's been through a certain amount of training that he's been through.
Acheron has been, I think assumptions could probably be made based on what Acheron has told you, that training has been done to teach agents to deaden themselves, I guess, to emotion.
So it's just, okay, so
yeah.
fair enough. He will recognize that.
Which I'd appreciate if you didn't tell Tia about. She put a lot of work in the last 2 years to try to make me as human as possible again.
Oh, I'll leave that to you. Aaron gets up from the log that he's sitting on and stretches, eyeing his tent, and he looks down to Ginevra. Isn't it
Should
funny?
stand.
Oh, okay, stand.
Still looking up at you though, because you're fucking 6 foot tall and I'm only 7 foot tall and I'm only 6 foot.
He's stretching, and then he kind of looking at the sky. Looks to Ginevra, the side of his eye. Isn't it funny that you think all there are devils in Rion? And he will walk into his tent.
Acheron's gonna speak up to Ginevra as Aaron walks off, be like, this is exactly what I mean by he's really fucking weird.
You're not the most normal yourself, Acheron.
Out of all of us, yes I am. And that's the scary part.
I don't know. I think you've been trained to think that the things you do, the way you treat yourself, your emotions as normal, but it's not.
Oh no, that shit's not normal at all. Absolutely not. That shit's unhealthy as fuck and is absolutely the result of something very weird. I just mean that I'm the only one not constantly waxing poetic about the gods and our place in the world and whether or not there's more things out there. Don't you get tired of being so concerned with everything?
No. Actually. It feels good to care about someone and care about something. Gives me direction. Makes me feel stable where I stand and know where I am and who I am. If you don't care about anything, then what are you?
A good weapon.
Is that what you want to be?
I said before, what I want to be is irrelevant. It's
It
what
doesn't
I
have to
am.
be anymore.
What is there for me?
You are free with Tia now. You know, you're not completely under them anymore. You get to decide what you are. Otherwise, what was the point in leaving in the first place?
I'm not. I wasn't. I might be now, I suppose, but before I was bound by the secret weight my identity carried, because if I stepped out of line, I don't have anyone left for the church to kill because they were going to let Tia go. It would be her family they went after.
How do you feel about the fact her family are in danger?
It upsets me that Titania is upset. Being completely honest, I feel that this is perhaps a fortunate opportunity.
How so?
Because Titania was always going to have to make a choice between her dream and her family. She wasn't going to without force, though. Now she can. And the cat and mouse waiting game of should I or should I not, and how much is too far, what info is okay to go after, has been ended. And she can finally choose to abandon it or move forward properly.
Is that what she's doing by moving forward? Abandoning it?
I don't know what she's chosen to do. I have my speculations. But it was always going to come down to what she thinks is right, and those she loves. It's not a happy day, but it's not going to pretend it's not somewhat of an opportunity.
If she chooses to move forward, then what is the opportunity?
I don't trust you enough with that information.
Alright. And I'll say goodnight.
Okay.
Well done with your carrots.
Oh yes, it was quite successful.
You were working hard on them. I'm glad that it turned out okay.
Then I'll refrain from telling you what it is.
I can probably guess. Don't have to be a genius to work it out.
Well, rest assured it's not for you. This was far too labor intensive for that.
Yeah. It wouldn't be necessary. I mean, look at me.
You're more dangerous than you look. Sleep well. You're next.
You too.
All right.
Patron, I'll take first watch. Your next was watch twice, not like I'm gonna murder you next.
That was awesome.
I mean,
The double entendre was great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're laughing because of the double entendre.
Okay. It did not hit me that it was one until it left my mouth.
Watch out. You're
But-
next.
I was like, that was suspicious. That was a little sus.
The words "you're next" from Acheron will always be a murder threat, even if not intended.
Hey.
Alright. Okay, so one after the other, the people left you around the campfire, Acheron. And now you're there all alone. have positioned yourself so you're the furthest away from the cave. Might also even like stand up and like wander around a little bit.
Yeah.
And the temperature continues to drop a little bit. It's not chilly. It's still, you know, a summer night. But from what you have been accustomed to now, and considering where you're from, it backs you a little bit. And the light from the stars and the moon slowly but surely disappears as the night progresses. The world darkening around you. Anything you'd like to do or think?
I think Acheron might, like, as everyone's like still keeping a watch out, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there are like rocks around, like
Make
bigger
me a
ones.
perception intelligence also in general.
Can do.
Thank you. Some rocks around. Well, I mean, this whole thing is basically a rocky, you know, cliff situation. So you could just go beyond the fire and then go get some rock climbing and just like climb up on top of the
Acheron's just looking for something to throw.
Oh, okay, well. Yes, there are rocks to throw. My apologies.
Yeah, Acheron's just like, you know, during the watch, like being like, you know, obviously not gonna vocalize at all because sleeping people and how dare you observe my emotions. But yeah, Acheron's just gonna like get some nice rocks and just absolutely like yeet those fuckers into the woods like as hard as possible.
Okay. Alright. You know, as you're trying to fall asleep, you hearing some rocks being thrown impact somewhere off into the distance.
Arms,
Like,
two arms.
Like Acheron is absolutely like putting all of the like frustration and rage and emotion they have in them just into those rocks. It's just like absolutely like chucking them like as hard as possible into the forest.
Alright. You do that until you feel emotionally and physically tired, I assume?
Yeah. Or until I run out of rocks, whichever one comes first.
Well, this is a little bit of a rocky place, so you can find
So,
enough rocks for your rocky place.
Yeah, and the rest of the watch is just spent quiet contemplation of the worst job ever.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Like this one does not only take the cake, it takes the entire fucking bakery.
Yeah.
Like the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And eventually, nothing disturbs you or the camp. And 2 hours has passed, and the one who's next.
I picked Ginevra just because I'm salty
You said it.
tonight. I'm gonna go like kick Ginevra's like foot. Like,
Oh, you
go,
cleared
like,
up. You cleared up the place.
Yes, I
Nice.
figured the rocks were a hazard.
I didn't realize you were an angry cleaner. It's a useful skill to have.
Yes, I agree. It's been very
Get some rest.
quiet. Bye. Go to bed.
Love Acheron.
Never giggles.
Yep.
Alright. And Ginevra, you take your watch. Give me a perception intelligence and tell me if you do something interesting.
Okay. Yeah, already there, and not too bad.
70. Alright.
I'm just taking an arrow and kind of like twiddling it
Mhm.
absent-mindedly in my finger, between my fingers. Just kind of swinging it around as I kind of walk around the place.
Okay.
Stare at the sky. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bit like a bad omen. The stars and that waning moon going towards new moon is completely covered from your sight now. The clouds have darkened and thickened to the point where there's only darkness above.
Hope you're still watching. I'm gonna need it. I'll continue on the watch.
And 2 hours later of just your thoughts in the darkness and in the silence, it is time for either Titania or Aaron to take their watch.
I'll get Aaron so Titania can have as much uninterrupted sleep as possible.
Okay.
Shake him awake or say something softly.
I'll just gently kind of press on his shoulder. Seems clear so far. Macron even cleared up the place a little. I hope I'll get to speak to you more about how funny it is. My beliefs. I fear we might not have much time.
Fine.
Who knows what's going to happen at that place? I hope for the best, but it's not in my control.
You know exactly what they're gonna do? Do you know how many?
I have no idea. I have no idea. That's why I said I didn't want to do this. I don't know what will happen when I light that candle. I don't know if they'll suddenly come. I don't know if they'll wait. I have no idea. That's why I don't like it. That's why I didn't want to get there in the first place. It's too risky. But it's not my decision.
Plans were risky though, Ginevra. That's what it means to be out on the road.
This one just leaves us with very few options. Very cramped space.
How come you
Lots
don't
of
want to give
unknowns.
them me? I mean, do you know what they would do to me?
No, I don't know details, but I mean, both of us have had enough horror stories from Acheron that it's probably not good. Honestly, if they want to take you without asking you, then it's probably not going to be anything enjoyable for you. I respect your desire to live as you wish to live. I want you to be free.
You want me to be free? You want me to... You want a devil to be free? Doesn't that... Sleep well, Ginevra.
Stay safe. I'll go to my tent.
I'm not special.
Anyway. Sit down by the fire as well, Aaron.
Sorry?
You sit down by the fire as well?
No.
No? Take a walk?
No. No.
No? Oh god, what happens? Tell me.
Oh God!
You take... he'll wait a few minutes, just like do a round, just as like, keeping watch, to begin with, just to double check that, everything was quiet as the clouds roll in and make it darker. He'll return to the camp area, and he will take out his sword.
Oh, okay. Make me also a perception intelligence for that. And as you return to the fireplace after making your little round, taking a look around, a little droplet of water hits your nose.
No, I was actually hoping it would be really low.
Okay. And a very gentle rainfall starts to dampen your hair as you look at your steel.
He's gonna go into the overhang, to against the wall, as he takes out his sword.
Okay.
And
behind the tents?
Sorry?
Just behind the tents? Because the tents are kind of like crammed into
Yeah. So exactly. But in between the tents at the back.
Yeah. Not much space, but yeah.
He doesn't. He's not gonna be like dancing or anything.
Okay.
He wanna stand at the face of the rock, and he's gonna take out the sword, and he's gonna hold it blade down, and he'll return to a thought that he had in the question game. And he's gonna look at the gemstone in the pommel, and he'll say, "Where are you? I don't know what I am anymore. But you obviously do." And he will look at the wall, and he will think for a moment before tracing his hands through the air, and a soft glow appears from underneath his glove as he casts a spell to he wants to make a symbol appear on the back wall of the rock, on the rock face, in a shining blue light. Not brilliant, it's not a brilliant light, but more like a softly glowing. And he wants to try and think back to the point in time before he woke, to draw the same symbol he saw back then.
Oh. Yeah, it's a symbol that you had never seen before. Something very different from your mistress or her friend's iconography. And there were old runes as well, in that space, so discussed different aspects of immortality and time and perseverance. And you write that center symbol on the wall, looking at it, hoping that somewhere in those lines there can be a mystery for you to unlock. But there is none. You look down.
Do I recall what the others were?
It was written in a very, very old dialect of Asian.
He doesn't have to understand it. He wants to try and remember.
Right. You can probably write up a few of them using your prestidigitation or Thaumaturgy.
Prestidigitation.
Probably summon some from memory, but
Would you roll?
yeah, sure. Still, it's a little bit fussy considering what state you were in at that point. Hey, just an intelligence check to recall. You know, a few come to you, but even with them you are unsure if they're correct.
Yeah.
And you look down a little bit disappointed. Your stone, shining more blue than usual. Something swirling within.
I try and look closer if I can, like, see into it.
Yeah. It's like this little wave. This little aurora borealis, you could say, of slightly more intense blue. Slightly lighter shade than the blue gem around it. And it's simply swimming inside of the confines of this crystal prison, bumping into the walls and twirling in random patterns, shedding the softest of dim light on top of your fingers.
He brings the gem closer to his eyes. Hello there. What are you? Then his attention snaps out of that and realizes he should be keeping watch.
Yeah.
He goes back to sit at the campfire, the embers, and putting the sword down in front of him, he will attempt to observe both the surroundings and this weird thing he's discovered.
Well, as your gaze breaks and this moment ends and you look down upon the crystal again, it's just a normal lattice within. No light, no life.
Symbols disappear after an hour from the rock face.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And you sit there, keep as best watch as you can.
Cursing myself that my memory is terrible.
And that gentle smattering of rain. You know, it's raining, so what can you expect?
Yeah, exactly. It's raining. Damn rain.
Alright.
Always messes everything up.
And then eventually your watch ends.
To wake Titania. He is going to try to recall the tune that Acheron plays on her flute.
Oh! Okay.
And looking into the tent, cast once again prestidigitation to very softly play the music in her ear.
I don't have this prepared, sadly, so.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, she'll wake up to the music. Good morning, Aaron.
Morning. Sleep well?
Enough. More than usual.
Oh. It's raining. So
Oh, great.
going
Well, at
on
least I
a
won't...
break soon. You should be okay though.
At least won't get distracted by my books this time. She'll walk out towards the campfire.
Are you okay?
Relatively, compared to yesterday, I'm fine, but overall, no. No.
Why?
I'm not... Is it not obvious? My mother is being poisoned. My baby brother is likely being tortured.
There's not a thing you can do about it here.
No. No, there is not.
Something that helps me. It might not help you, but it's just a suggestion. It helps if you try and focus on the things that you have control over here and now, and be in control of those. Fire needs stoking. Gonna have one in the morning. I get it. You're worried about your family. Anyone would be. But we need you here.
I hear you. If you'll excuse me. And she will push away from under the overhang and out towards the fire.
Alright. Sit down by the fire and goes to bed. 2 hours of sleep more.
Yep. I'll go ahead and make that perception check.
Yes,
But there
please.
is something I would like to do.
Okay.
before we wrap
Ooh,
up
exciting.
this. 9. She was distracted anyway, so.
Okay. Well, I mean.
Yeah. Titania, as she's sitting there, is going to look back over at the tent. Aspen, may I ask, where did Acheron put the letter?
Front pocket,
Mhm.
like of pants. Front pant pocket. Because that is the hardest one to get into when someone is like, because you would know Acheron usually sleeps on their side with like one like side pressed up to something, but like curled in, or with something in their middle. So they're like, this is the hardest place for it to be for someone to steal it. So they made it as difficult as possible.
Yeah, Titania.
But yeah.
Titania's
Front pant pocket.
thinking about it.
I mean, go 5 it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Titania is... I'm going to go over to the tent, and I'm going to... after we've hit a point where we could mechanically say that Acheron has had a long rest, but I want to wake Acheron up.
Fair.
Okay, Acheron, you're awakened too early, it feels. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel right. Tired.
Yeah, I think Acheron tenses for a minute, like, and obviously seeing Titania, like, is expecting something to be wrong. Just looks up at Titania for a minute.
May I speak with you real quick? Could you bring the letter?
Yes. Acheron will, like, groan just a little bit. The tiniest bit miffed to be woken up early. But does, like, you know, like, does the thing that, like, and then, like, slowly like sits up and like gets up and trudges out to go sit with Titania.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit wet in the rain, but she looks over to you, just stokes the fire next and pats the side of the log for you to sit next to her.
Akron, well, how are you doing?
I'm very upset, I'll admit. But I don't want to be left in the dark. You know?
Are you sure?
Information is my business, technically. It's my job. I should at least do the same with my personal life, right?
It's from her.
That makes sense. Still like to read it.
Okay. Akron will take it out. But before giving it over, Akron will, like, just hold it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Aaron was not keen on my reading this letter. I think he wonders if we would... It's an offer from her. And I think he worries it's one that we'll take. I know that... I want you to know that I'm grateful for everything that you've done and tried to do for me. And that while I claim I can't understand what you're going through because I don't have a family, that's not entirely true because you're my family. But I've made up my mind on this and my role in it. And I do think you should get a chance to do the same. Just don't make hasty decisions. And Akron will hand over the letter, but it's gonna like sit right there next to Titania while she reads it to like supervise.
Yep.
With a bit of a trembling hand, Titania unfold the letter. You see that very intricate handwriting
Mm-hmm.
of a certain cardinal.
Hmm. This might be a silly question because I don't think the answer matters, but would you take that deal?
No. I love you. You are my family. You have been for a while. And you know that I would essentially do anything for you. And I still love Medea. It hurts to even say her name still, and I think that's as close to that emotion as it's been described to me. But that's not viable. It's not... You know, for all the talk of hell and fighting the devil's war after death, that's just the same thing, but you're still alive. I can't go back to that Tia.
She speaks with such certainty. She's got all the power in the world. She doesn't think she can actually fail. 'Cause of course she doesn't. Why would she? Why would she? She always gets what she wants. She always did. Always does. Let's see. Afterwards, you are coming back to Einor. But if you continue running around like an insolent child not listening to me, there will be consequences. She wants to call me an insolent child, then I guess I'm an insolent child. And she'll crumple up the letter and throw it in the fire.
You know what this means, don't you? I'm not trying to change your mind, I'm just making sure you understand everything.
I know all too well.
Acheron will just put an arm around Titania and like rest their head on her shoulder, kind of pull her into like a little hug.
Mm-hmm.
Irene's gonna be really fucking pissed when she loses.
He better be.
I think Acheron is just content to kind of sit there with Titania in the morning.
Roll a vitality save to not fall asleep.
No.
Let them sleep. Let them sleep.
No. Sleep is for the weak, but my vitality is fucking bad. Oh my god. Roll 20. I am not in the mood.
Making enemies with everyone. Okay, no.
Especially roll 20.
Able to stave off the tiredness, but you basically slept 4 hours. So you know.
Did my best.
No, well, I said I wanted to wake them up at the end of their at the end of Titania's watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Since you said like I want to immediately do this, I got like, oh.
Oh
Okay.
no, like
No,
enough
no.
time that I'd get like as close to
Okay.
full
Yeah.
as possible.
So
Like,
then you have
this,
slept 6 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah. I wanted
Just 10 more minutes, please.
just to get like I wanted to wake her up 15 minutes before the rest of the group I knew would wake up.
That's the worst,
Yeah.
though, really. Have you ever been like woken up just before you're meant to wake up? You get so irritated.
Yeah. I could have slept 15 minutes more. How dare you? Yeah.
Oh, real quick, Agra will pull out the little vials because Titania went to bed before I did it. And we'll just show them to Titania and be like, yeah, I did it.
You did it.
Well done. Yes, that's good. That's good.
We have an
When you
egg.
plan on using them soon?
Maybe. It depends on how the fuck, like, how fucking messy we are going into this shit. I'd
it's gonna be
rather
messy no
save
matter
them
what.
for a different fight, especially because, and if you tell the other two this, I will be mad at you forever. I really don't want to kill them, actually. I'm kind of ticked off that they went with my idea, to be completely honest. I was really banking on Aaron not listening to me again.
You two are more alike than you think, you know.
Ew, why would you say such a thing? You're
'Cause
totally
it's true.
not. How are we alike?
You two are
I'm
very
rude on
blunt
purpose.
You two are very blunt with your way of speaking. You know, you're very quiet. You tend to say what you mean whilst also leaving out the most important details.
Aaron, you sneeze as you're about to come to by hearing this talking.
Triggered. Okay. I groan and drag my ass out of the tent and crack my neck and go tend to Zelia.
Everyone's gonna like not like hit like Tia's arm real quick, still look at Aaron and like not even keeping their voice, just be like, what do you think he is?
I mean, we're operating on the assumption. I mean, I've read fae stories, you know, like old fairy tales, you know.
Are those
maybe
the charming ones? No, it can't be.
It can be charming in different ways. It could be. I mean, I don't really have any other references, and those are, like, I don't have any historical references, those are children's stories. Folklore, kind of. Folklore diluted through the perspective of we need to be appropriate for children, you know?
It's not my stories where I grew up. My dad didn't water down any of this. Okay, I meant fairy tales, thank you. Not all of my childhood was that terrible, actually.
I apologize.
Hey, Aaron. I just call over their shoulder.
Brushing. I look over the back of Zelia. Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with, like, common fairy tales, or is that something you missed in your weird childhood?
I'm not sure I've seen a fairy with a tail.
That statement implies that you have seen fairies before, which I am... Honestly, like, I don't put anything past you at this point. But I would require some explanation.
What?
You do hear that laugh coming from Genevra's tent.
Oh my god.
Brush.
What? Was that just a joke that got delivered very badly, or?
I can't tell. See, that's the problem.
Aaron, please.
Brush.
I cannot handle any more of this shit.
Aren't fairies a thing here?
What the fuck are you? Oh my...
In, like, children's stories?
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
Oh,
But
right.
Where do stories come from, though?
Superstition, folklore, usually a attempt to explain natural phenomenon that is then diluted through the perspective of fiction.
Boredom.
You know? Boredom is also a good one.
Where do fairies come from, Aaron?
I don't know, you'll have to ask them.
This conversation is exhausting.
I would be curious to know. Ginevra kind of pops her head out of the tent.
I am curious to know.
No, not about fairies. I'd be curious to know if you had a name for your people. A name that you used.
Been a long time that I've thought about it. And to be honest, traveling with you folk has reminded me of some things that I have chosen to forget. So thank you for bringing that up.
Forget again?
I think you know better than that, Acheron.
I can teach you a trick.
Back then, we didn't really focus on it. But those that we fought called us a name. And they called us Malakim.
In like an okay way or in like a slur way?
Actually, I've never really thought about that.
Question for the GM. Has Titania heard that term before?
Same to me.
Yeah. I
Well,
can roll for it.
I'm pretty sure I haven't, but it's worth asking.
no, you have actually heard about this term, and even Akron might know this term.
Oh shit!
I mean,
Really?
in the world of eternal light paradise, where you go, to live out your afterlife, if you're a good little Rihannish follower. There, the scripture talks about, Rion's helpers, and they are, named angels or celestials, and then the absolute lowest tier of them, you could say, are the Malakim.
Oh, Aaron, you're gonna be so mad when I tell you this. That's what Akron says out loud.
Titania is very confused and just is writing furiously in her notebook.
So, Aaron,
A strange name for an enemy to call you.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset would you be to find out that you are connected to Rion, actually?
Oh, I'm not confused about that fact. I'm not connected to Rion at all. But I get what you're trying to drive at. Rion is such a pitiful god in my eyes. It is why I'm so vastly confused as why you would even choose such an entity. But I guess, looking at Ginevra, things change.
What makes him pitiful?
Well, it's different now, maybe. I can't really say, but Rion hasn't always been that of any real significant power. At least from my experience.
So,
Okay, that's
he's
definitely-
real. Like, you're sure he's real.
Same as the fiends are real that allow Titania to do what she does.
There's gotta be a source for these things.
Are they
Also-
all real? Sorry.
If I think that so in your experience, Rion hasn't always had the influence he had across the world?
No.
The Rionish Empire, the empire that Gaenor started, was founded 700 years ago.
Thank you.
What?
Okay, well, what the point is that if if my math checks out, Aaron, you are at least 700 plus years old.
I don't keep track of time. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I hate this fucking place.
Do you know the names of the others?
The others?
The other gods, as you call them.
My memory is fuzzy. But I think I can remember some of them.
Would you be willing to share?
I think this is kind of a roll situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I like rolling off against you? Like a persuasion check, or?
Or is it a recall? Is what you're asking?
Yeah, it was a recall one.
It's more a recall based on the fact that it's before time.
Yeah. After a lot of time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's just do a straight intelligence, but I will say that you do know the immediate ones, you know.
It's been a long time, and it's raining. So, he like closes his eyes as he like.
I can't give you my DM's inspiration.
He closes his eyes and it's like, I've chosen to try and forget. It's not easy bringing it back up. Well, you seem very interested in this information, like it means something. It doesn't matter anymore.
Just to me. I mean, I'm sure you can understand why. You speak to me constantly saying how little I know, and yet I'm trying to learn more, and you tell me it doesn't matter. It's...
Okay, well, the names, I'm sure they'll come to me at some point if I continue to think upon it, but...
Can we go back to the 700 years part?
I'm holding on to that question. Let him finish. Let him finish.
What I do remember from back then, there were other gods around, but what mattered most to me was that of the conclave. That I was a part of. That I miss.
What was the conclave?
Conclave was my home.
Where you came from?
A long time ago, I think. Based on your reaction in terms of that number, I'm not exactly sure if that is something that I should be really concerned about, but I don't know the distance in time in terms of whether or not that value is even relevant. I don't know the history of this land. I don't know the history longer than 5 years ago. Time moves in weird ways when you try and lose yourself. I chose to forget. I didn't want to.
That's why I was asking your experience. But you do remember what you are willing to remember. I don't want to force you. I'm just trying to learn.
My home. It was called the Empyrean Islands. It was part of the conclave. It's where we existed. It's where everything was more or less in harmony. Back then I was a soldier. I was good at it. There's a lot of things that happened back then that are coming back. But part of me doesn't want to remember just yet. And he kind of hides his face briefly behind Zelia's flank and just kind of touches his cheek. And then flicks his hair back. I don't know exactly why. And he looks to Akron. I wasn't in a position to ask questions. But somehow I survived. And we fought those of a fiendish nature. We fought for a long time. And then there was nothing. There's emptiness.
Alright.
Just me.
And as this heavy atmosphere lies itself on top of the camp, your situation has never been easy, full of secrets and hidden figures and pasts that you rather not dig up. Spruce Cross looms on your mind as the dark clouds above you. Poetic that it's raining again. An errand from your time outdoors and in Oldwood, you can feel it. A storm. Is coming. And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode of Asians Return.
No!